I did a video some time ago about apologizing. Specifically, how to apologize effectively. What I didn't talk about in that video was forgiveness. Not so much the relationship between forgiveness and apologies, but the idea of being able to forgive someone irrespective of an apology. It's easy to turn forgiveness into a commodity or a reward of sorts, as in someone must earn forgiveness or someone must give forgiveness. And I don't take exception to those because the language used is going to be a reflection of the person using it, or at least a reflection of the values that they frame forgiveness with. Maybe acts of service are important to you, in which case someone earning your forgiveness makes a lot of sense. Maybe social dynamics are important to you, in which case the power to grant forgiveness will make more sense. See what I mean? It all depends on your value system. For the most part, I don't think forgiveness is all that complicated. Our ability to forgive is often the best aspect of who we are, because it speaks to a level of empathy that is sorely lacking in too many segments of society. But when I say not complicated, that doesn't mean it's easy. Forgiveness can run into some problems if you're not clear about what it means to you. Personally, I am not a person who forgives easily. Forgiveness, when it's asked of me, is something that I struggle with quite a bit. Mostly because I am neither easily slighted or given to taking offense for no reason. I can be incredibly patient with the people who are teetering on the brink of offending me, either intentionally through their actions or unintentionally through their behaviors, or even vice versa. But when my patience runs out, I am done with that person. I reach a limit and I move on from that relationship. And I don't really take the perspective that everyone deserves a second chance, especially retroactively. As in, they offend me with something that requires forgiveness on my part. So I should give them a chance? Or another chance in most cases? No. I give all the chances that I'm going to give proactively, not retroactively. I front-end load the relationship, generally speaking. I accept people for who they are, and I accept people for who they aren't, which is equally important in some relationships. I wave off a lot of things that, if I was being more sensitive about it, would probably cause great offense. I would definitely have grounds to be upset with that person. And that's where retroactive chances under the guise of forgiveness comes in. Give them one more chance and all that noise. But what about the dozens or even hundreds of chances that I gave to that person before that moment? Don't those count? They should, and they do with me. That means I end relationships with no warnings and no additional explanation. Not because I only give one chance, but because that person took more than their fair share of chances. At a certain point, there are no more chances left. And it's not my problem that they weren't keeping track. Their problem is that I was. And sure, we're encouraged to forgive and forget, but that's not something that aligns with who I am. It doesn't speak to my value system at all, because I value boundaries. Definitive and self-preserving boundaries. Once a person violates those, I don't see why it should fall to me to salvage what's left of the relationship. So when something like that happens, the person gets removed from my life. Fully and completely, and more often than not without any further discussion. Because if they were ever really my friend, truly, they already know what's up. And it really shouldn't be a shock to get removed. Nor is it something that they have to worry about after that point. Because losing me as a friend isn't the same thing as gaining me as an enemy. It's not that binary or juvenile. But I don't need friends who don't think our relationship is worth the effort to protect it from their maladaptive actions and behaviors. Because people who don't protect others from their own worst impulses probably don't deserve to have overly forgiving friends in the first place. The bottom line for those types of people is this: don't use up all the forgiveness available to you before you need it. When that happens, personally, I prefer to forget them than forgive them again. And that might seem harsh to some of the more soft-hearted of you out there watching this, but you'll just have to forgive me for that.